Hi guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to convert whatever you're seeing on the screen, meatballs, into a proper meal like this one. These are meatballs in meatball sauce or spaghetti sauce, homemade. So stay tuned and let me show you how to do this. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, remember to share, and let's get started. We'll start with minced meat. You can get this from your local butcher and as much as you want. I just started with a little bit over half kgs, then 3 medium-sized or large tomatoes and chilies, but the chilies are optional. We'll use onion nyanyasi, grass onion and the red onion. Then we're going to use ginger and garlic. This will form the base of the ingredients you're going to use. We'll also use dhania or coriander, a little bit of oil, and a little bit of some spices. So you can use any spice that is around, and if you have mixed up, I didn't have some, you can use that. So let's get started. We'll start by peeling and finely chopping the ingredients. We'll be using 2 onions as I mentioned. The reason why we are doing this is just to develop the flavors of the meatballs before we even start adding other things. So I find using 2 types of onions very sweet and everything. It just helps with the flavor. So you can also use a chopping tool that you have, a meal processor and all those things. I just prefer doing this by hand because it gives me the room to do it as fine as I want it. But you can also use just 1 type of onion if that is what you have around. For the ginger and garlic, if you have ready-made ginger garlic paste, use that. If not, grind some or blend some or crush some, or even chop it, finely chop the garlic and ginger, still works. Then we're going to go in with half of our coriander, dhania. The remaining half I'll use for the sauce and for garnish. Finely chop, and then we're going to mix everything as we chop them together, just to give it a good mix, and also finely chop everything. So that's it. Then add that to your minced meat. I do this because if I mix the ingredients separately, mixing them to the meat becomes easier. So let's get dirty now with our hands. Before we do that, we'll add salt and the herbs or spices. I just used cumin, black pepper and coriander powder. If you have herbs, feel free to add them. Now get a plate and wash your hands. Then let's start mixing. We're actually mixing this so that all the herbs and all the ingredients you've added are properly combined with the minced meat, so that every flavor is evenly distributed. Once you're comfortable with the distribution, we're going to start making the balls. So you can use an ice cream scoop, you can use a spoon, but I just prefer using my hands to do this because it helps me measure. I prefer making medium-sized meatballs, so to measure that I use the palm of my hand. I don't want it too big or too small. You want a size that is almost like a golf ball but a little smaller, like so. It helps give you enough space for you to shape the meatballs. Also, don't squeeze it too much. You want it to get some room. As you can see, that is our meatball. We're going to repeat the process. It's important for you to note that you don't want to overly compress the meatballs, just until it comes together into a nice shape. Let's clean up and get to the next step. We'll start with 2 to 3 tablespoons of cooking oil and allow it to heat for a little bit, like 1 minute or so. Ensure that the oil is spread evenly on the pan. Once everything is nice and hot, go in with the meatballs. Gently place them on the pan as I've shown. Once you're done placing them on the pan, we're going to start turning them, because what we are after is not cooking them, rather caramelizing them. kuziunguza kidogo just to get the flavor, if I may put it that way. So you'll start with the first one that you place as you go to the last one, and you'll keep doing this until every side is properly coated or has that nice golden brown color. We do this also to help it firm, because you see we've not added anything to the meatballs, so we want them to almost cook but not completely, just to have them firm up. You don't want your meatballs to start breaking while you're putting them in the sauce or while you're turning them in the sauce. That is the main thing here. But if this is a lot of work, you can also put them in the oven on high heat and remove them after around 15 minutes. Once you're done, remove them or set them aside. Then we'll start making the sauce. We'll still use the same pan or the same sufuria because it still has that flavor from the meat and whatnot. I prefer doing the caramelization in the pan because it develops nice flavors. Anyway, that said, add in some more oil and go in with the onions. Fry the onions. We're now making the sauce. I think you know the drill from here. We just want the onions to be translucent or a little bit golden brown, but not really. We just want them to be translucent. You get? Afterwards, we're going to add the spices. Now, if you have oregano, it's the best, but I didn't have it, so I just used turmeric, coriander powder and garam masala, just that, and a little bit of salt. Give it a good stir and allow it to cook for around 30 seconds to 1 minute before adding the tomatoes. For the tomatoes, you can either use blended, finely chopped, or crushed. Add in the tomatoes and allow them to cook completely. Like, you want them to totally disintegrate or to be, you see, like they form that nice tomato gravy or tomato sauce before you start adding in anything else. Adjust the salt to your preference and cover the tomatoes so that they cook down faster. After a few minutes, you're going to start mashing them. If you used blended tomatoes, you'll skip this step, but since I didn't use blended tomatoes, I'm just going to crush them like this to make the process a little bit faster. Once done, we're going to add in 1 tablespoon of tomato paste and give it a good mix. Then you're going to add in hoho or green peppers. And lastly, add in some water. Give it a good mix and cover it before adding in the meatballs. I've just remembered a phrase that I've always wanted to use. I don't put sugar in my spaghetti sauce. Anyway, cover it and let it simmer down. Then we're going to add in the meatballs. Finally, this is where the meatballs come in. And then gently mix them or turn them in the sauce so that it's all covered in the sauce that we've just made. The sauce we've just made will appear light at first, but we want it to be very thick towards the end. Cover them and allow them to simmer down. Now, if you're a chili person, this is where you'll add in your chili. If not, just skip this step and allow the meatballs to cook. This is how you know your meatballs are cooking nicely, when the oil starts separating and the gravy starts coming together. It just smells heavenly. Yani. Anyway, mix them up, and if you need to adjust your sauce, we adjust using water, so add in as much water as you want. If not, continue cooking it down if you feel the gravy is too watery. Since you're almost done with the cooking, you're going to add in dhania. Give it a good mix. Adjust if you need to. If not, cover it and simmer. Making meatballs is time consuming, so if you would like to try this recipe, ensure that you start cooking at least 1 hour 30 minutes to the time you want to serve. Anyway, this is how ours look now. I think I'm happy with this, so serve with your favorite meal and enjoy. Just to add on, see how the gravy coats my spoon. It's just lovely. It's not watery, and if it cools down a little bit, it will even become thicker. So I am happy with this. I served mine with some spaghetti and my choice of vegetables. You can use your choice of vegetables. It can be anything. So serve and enjoy, and don't ask why I added some avocado. Avocado is just way. Jana niliambiwa with someone that ati avocado haina taste, or I don't know, it has curry nyingi, but we don't eat it because of scurry. We eat it because it slaps different, you know. Anyway guys, so thank you for watching this. If you're new here, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.